So yesterday I did a podcast interview with a young black woman who's, making her way through tech, trying to create her own legacy. And I immediately left that recording, and I'm going to tell you more about that in a minute, but I immediately left that recording to go way across town to see Toni Morrison. She died last week, but there's a documentary out about her that came out, I guess, on Friday. And so the one theater that is showing in my city is way across town, and I ran out of here way across town to go see Toni Morrison's movie, The Pieces I Am. And that conversation I had and then the movie really really just brought home to me. I've just been thinking about it all night, in my dreams and everything, about the white gaze. And the reason there's a reference to the swamp is also because I was thinking about the 2016 chant, Drain the Swamp. And I really am seeing how the swamp, particularly relates to business, particularly as it relates to the products and services we create in the tech space, is the white gaze. So let me try to break this down a little bit so you can understand what I mean. So the white gaze, so when I was having a conversation with this young black lady, she brought up code switching, which is when a white person enters a room, or we enter a room when there are white people, our voices change, our bodies change, how we interact change, our tone, literally our tonation of words change. And it's because, one, that whiteness is the default. So how we are supposed to speak as professionals is based off, is seen through a white lens. And to stay and to be admitted and to stay in those spaces, we have to adopt the mannerisms, the colloquialisms, the gestures of whiteness, for us to be seen as value. And I'm saying us because I'm speaking of most people of color, but particularly black people in the United States. No, I'm not even gonna say that. Just black people, period. Because I've seen it. I know people have talked about it in Europe. So you have to take on this you have to put on this thing, and you have to shut off who you are authentically, to enter and these spaces so that whiteness can be comfortable. That's all it is. It's so whiteness can be comfortable. These rules are put in place so that the dominant power structures can be comfortable in the space. So, all the while you're uncomfortable. And it's so interesting because we're so used to it that we cloak it, and we don't understand why we're so uncomfortable, why when we leave work our shoulders are like up in our necks, and why we're so tense. And because we've had to spend 8 hours or more with individuals, around individuals in spaces where we just could not be our authentic selves, where we just had to play a role all day long. And that is tiring. And so how it ties into Toni Morrison in the documentary, when she was writing, and in interviews, she's constantly being told, oh, when are you going, or asked, because it's always the asks, always the nice, the whiteness rarely, you're seeing it now with the, Nazis and all that, but it's rarely is it blatant. Why the fuck are you acting this way? It's always these nice questions that make you question, I'm going to put that on you. Why are you doing that? That's interesting. What's with that choice? And so she kept getting a lot of, when are you going to stop? When are you not going to focus on black lives or black experiences? And she kept saying that you wouldn't ask a Russian author about this. You wouldn't ask an Irish author when they were going to stop writing about Irish stories. Why are you asking? And she calls herself an African American, and I don't call myself an African American. I'm going to put this here because I think, first of all, American is a default for USA, and it shouldn't be, because there's North, South, and Central America, and I feel that's very exclusionary, and I'm black. So that's what, in the US, that's what I'm black. So, but you know, the questioning of why are you putting so much value on these African American stories? Why won't you tell a broader story? Why is whiteness considered a broader story? And I loved how she intentionally and with strategy, because intention without strategy is chaos, intentionally with strategy told the stories of African American lives without the glossary, without the need of an appendix, without the need to explain or to do a preface that explains these experiences to non-Black audiences. Either you got into the story, her stories, and you fumbled around to figure out what the fuck was going on because it wasn't a part of your culture, or you did your own research. She did not make it her responsibility to bring you in on the stories. And I love that. And I love that. And I want to tell more of those stories where we're not concerned about the white gaze, because the white gaze is the swamp. And then I'm going to tie this into why it's so detrimental to the products and services we're creating in tech, and why it's so detrimental to your businesses that you're trying to build. Because if I am a Black woman and I have to wear a mask 8 hours a day on my job, you will never get the fullness of what you hired me for. I will never trust you enough. I will never be safe enough. And there's no amount of welcoming that will make me help you build whatever you need to build as an employee. Anything that is beyond what I have determined is the bare, I'm going to be honest with you, the bare minimum so that you can leave me alone. Because that's why we do it. We want you to leave us alone. So when we have to become obsessed with the white gaze and code switching and making sure that whiteness is comfortable, that's assimilation. It's not accommodating who I am. And you as a tech leader who is building a product or service that you may want to change the world, because this is like the mantra in tech. Oh, I want to change the world while you also causing harm. It's such an interesting dichotomy. But you'll never get the full benefit of marginalized individuals that you bring on if they have to be concerned with the white gaze. And that's the swamp. That's the underbelly. That is where the muck is. That is where the dirtiness is. And we're not going to get in there with you. We're just going to sit back. We're going to do what we need to do so that you can leave us the fuck alone. And we're going to go home. And some of us are going to get angry. Some of us are going to be torn down. Some of us are going to get depressed. Some of us are going to be stressed. But there are going to be enough of us who decide, you know what? I'm going to make something out of this. I'm going to learn their business. And I'm going to start a business on my own. I'm going to take their clients. I'm going to take their ideas. I'm going to do whatever. And you can call it stealing. You can call it whatever you want to. But it becomes a survival for us. And it's also the fact that you never let us be fully who we were. So you don't know who and what we can do. So, yeah, I just wanted to have that conversation because that just really sat with me. It really changed me fundamentally just watching that. And also, it was really interesting that it was the theater was practically empty. There were maybe 8 of us in there, and I was the only. It was 6 or 7 white middle-aged women and me. And that's another reason why I felt so viscerally to this message, because there was such imagery and conversations about the Black experience that sitting in that theater with those white women made me very uncomfortable. It was as if they were voyeurs into my experience, like just because whiteness gets to sit back and observe my lived experience and provide commentary on it. It's really disgusting. It's really gross. It's just really disgusting. And as soon as the credits rolled, I got up and left because I did not want to have myself in a situation where one of these women said something to me, because at that moment, I didn't know how I would respond. And I was going to be honest. In that moment, I may have just gone off just like, what the fuck are you talking to me? Why are you talking to me? You just saw this. Why? I don't have to talk to you. Why are you speaking to me? You mean absolutely nothing to me. Why are you speaking to me? So those are the things that made me just really think about this. And I really implore you to start thinking about this, white people in tech. The people who you think you're allies, you think you have friends of color, particularly black friends of color. I need you to think about, especially the ones who say, I have black friends and they never talked about this. Trust me, they're experiencing it. And if they haven't talked about you, it's because you're not safe. They don't trust you. And that's on you. Take care.